Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss ESC Engineering Service Examination previous year objective type questions in electronics and communication engineering. Let us start our session. First bit, silicon dioxide is used in ICs integrated circuits because it option A facilitates the penetration of diffusions, option B it has a high heat conduction, option C it prevents the diffusion of impurities, and option D controls the concentration of diffusions. What is the correct option? Means the correct option is C, option C. It prevents the diffusion of the impurities. Silicon dioxide is used in ICs because of silicon dioxide is prevents the diffusion of the impurities. So SiO2 is used in the IC fabrication, integrated circuit fabrication. Okay. Next one. Second bit. Consider an N-channel MOSFET with parameters Kn equal to 0.25 milliampere per volt square, Vt equal to 1 volt, lambda equal to 0, CGD gate to drain capacitance equal to 0.04 picofarads and CGS equal to 0.2 picofarads. If the transistor is biased at VGS equal to 3 volts, the unity gain bandwidth of an FET will be. So we have to find out what we have to find out. Unity gain bandwidth of an FET. Options are 626 MHz, 646 MHz, option C 663 MHz, and option D 683 MHz. And correct option is option C. Now we are going to see the detailed explanation how 663 MHz will come. See the explanation. Zm equal to, first of all you have to find out the unity gain. Our ultimate aim is to find out the unity gain bandwidth now. So initially we have to find out Zm equal to transconductance, Zm equal to 2Kn into formula 2Kn into Vgs minus Vt, 2 into Kn. What is the value of Kn? Mentioned in the problem, 0.25 milliampere. Okay, Kn value 0.25 into 10 power minus 3. It is Kn value is 0.25 milliamperes now. So we have to multiply with 10 power minus 3 and Vgs minus Vt equal to 2. That is Zm, transconductance is 1 millimho. Okay, it is the transconductance value 1 millimho. Then we have to find out unity gain bandwidth. The formula is Zm by 2 pi into Cgs plus Cgd. What is the value of Zm? 1 into 10 power minus 3, 1 millimho. 2 pi into CGS value. What is the CGS value mentioned in the problem? 0.21 picofarads, and CGD value 0.04 picofarads. If you add both these, you can get 0.24 into 10 power minus 12. Why? Because of picofarads. By substituting all the values, you can get 663 MHz as a unity gain bandwidth of an FET. Okay, next we are going with the third bit. The voltage gain of a CE amplifier, common emitter amplifier circuit, can be approximated for an ideal input AC source and is given by what we have to find out. Gain, unity voltage gain of a CE amplifier. Gain is denoted with A. That means we have to find out V out by V in. What is the correct option? That is here it is option C. AVS equal to minus RC parallel with RL by RE dash. Okay, it is the voltage gain of a CE amplifier. Here RC is the collector resistance, RL is the load resistance, RE dash is the effective resistance at input of a transistor from emitter resistance RE. Okay, what is the gain means? We have to find out V out by Vn. What is the V out value? V out value minus of RC parallel RL, V in value RE dash. It is the gain of a CE amplifier, voltage gain of a C amplifier. And the next one, the advantage of using a class B push-pull transistor amplifier over a class A push-pull transistor amplifier is a negligible power loss at no input signal, option A. Option B is harmonic destruction is lower, and option C, self-bias can be used, and option D, supply voltages have good regulation. The correct option is option A, a negligible power loss at no input signal. For explanation, we have to see, in class B push-pull amplifier, we have a zero signal power dissipation. So we have opted for option A. Okay, the next one, fifth one, the overall decibel dB voltage gain of the overall dB voltage gain of a multi-stage amplifier. Here they have mentioned multi-stage amplifier is option A, dB voltage gain of the first stage, option B, the product of the dB voltage gains of the individual stages, and option C, the sum of the dB voltage gain of the individual stages, and option D is the dB voltage gain of the last stage. What is the correct option? Option C, the sum of the dB voltage gain of the individual stages. Next, sixth one, if an op-amp operational amplifier having specified signal bandwidth of 1 MHz and closed loop gain ACL equal to 200 volt per millivolts, the cutoff frequency FC will be option A 25 Hz and option C 5 Hz, option B 15 Hz and option D 1 Hz. What is the correct option? Option C. For explanation, see here, what they had given, signal bandwidth is 1 MHz, closed loop gain ACL equal to 200 volts per millivolts. Okay, what we have to find out ultimately? Cutoff frequency. What is the formula for cutoff frequency? Cutoff frequency FC equal to bandwidth by closed loop gain. It is the formula. So what we have to find out means the cutoff frequency. Cutoff frequency is FC, bandwidth by closed loop gain. What is the bandwidth mentioned in the problem? 1 MHz, 1 into 10 power 6. Closed loop gain 200 volt per millivolts. 200 volts per millivolts. So we have to write 10 power minus 3. Milli means. So on by doing calculation, we can get 5 Hz as a correct answer. The seventh one, if the bias current in the IC741 operational amplifier is IQ equal to 19 microamperes and the internal frequency compensation capacitor C1 equal to 30 picofarads, the slew rate of an operational amplifier will be, we have to find out the slew rate. What is the formula for the slew rate? dV by dt, change in voltage to the change in time. Okay, it is the definition for the slew rate. Options are 1.58 volt per microsecond, option B 1.26 volt per microsecond, option C 0.93 volt per microsecond, and option D 0.63 volt per microsecond. We have already known I equal to C into dV by dt. From this we have to find out only dV by dt. Why? Because it is slew rate. dV by dt is automatically equal to I by C. What they had given, I value 19 microamperes, and C value they had mentioned 30 picofarad. So we have to mention 30 picofarad. By doing calculation, we can get 0.63 volt per microsecond as the slew rate for the op-amp. And next one, which of one of the following statements regarding slew rate is correct? Which one of the following statement? Option A, it signifies how rapidly the output of an op-amp can change in response to changes in the frequency of the input signal. Option B, it does not change with change in voltage gain. Option C, it should be smaller for high-speed op-amp applications. And option D, it is not fixed for operational amplifier. What is the correct option? Option A, it signifies how rapidly the output of an operational amplifier can change in response to changes in the frequency of the input signal. Okay, according this statement is correct for the slew rate. Ninth one, which one of the following is a ninth one? Which one of the following is correct for an ideal operational amplifier? This is a very important bit. It had asked many times in the ESC preliminary examination. And option A, input resistance Ri equal to infinity, output resistance R not equal to 0 and bandwidth equal to 0. Okay, option A. What is option B? Input resistance Ri equal to 0, output resistance R not equal to infinity and bandwidth is 0. Option C, input resistance infinity, output resistance 0, bandwidth infinity. Option D, input resistance 0, output resistance 0, bandwidth infinity. For ideal operational amplifier, the correct option is option C. Input resistance is infinity, output resistance is 0 and bandwidth is 0. Here input resistance and bandwidth are infinity and only output resistance is 0. Okay, and next one, 10th one, the advantage of ILD. What is the mean by ILD? Means injection laser diode over LED. Light emitting diode. What is advantage of injection laser diode over light emitting diode is option A, ILD emits incoherent light whereas LED emits coherent light. Option B, in ILD it is difficult to couple light whereas in LED it is easy to couple light. In ILD coupling loss is more whereas in LED coupling loss is less. And fourth and last option, ILD emits coherent light whereas LED emits incoherent light. What is the correct option? Option D. Why? Because ILD, injection laser diode, is coherent in nature. So ILD emits coherent light whereas LED is incoherent in nature, so it can emit incoherent light. Laser diode emits coherent light whereas light emitting diode emits incoherent light. 11th one, the quantum efficiency eta for the photodetector is option A, IPH by P0, option B, IPH by E by P0 by HC by lambda, option C, P0 by IPH, and option D, P0 by HC by lambda by IPH by E. Here IPH stands for average photocurrent, P0 stands for average incident optical power, HC by lambda is incident photon energy. Okay, the correct option is option B. Option B is the correct one. For explanation, we have to see eta equal to generated electrons per second by incident photons per second. Generated electrons per second equal to I by Q. Incident photons per second equal to P0 by H nu. I. What is the value of I by Q? That means IPH by E. P0 by H nu stands for P0 by HC by lambda. Okay. Here nu equal to C by lambda. Okay. And next one, according to Kirchhoff voltage law, algebraic sum of all voltages in a closed loop of a network is always 0. Okay. And 13th one, Ohm's law is applicable to DC circuits only. What is Ohm's law? V equal to IR. It is the formula. Okay. Well, current increases linearly with the voltage. It is the Ohm's law. Formula is V equal to IR. And it is applicable to only DC circuit. It is option A. Option B, AC circuit only. Option C, DC circuit as well as AC circuit, provided account is taken of the induced EMF resulting from the self-inductance of circuit and of the distribution of current in cross section of the circuit. And option D is DC circuit as well as AC circuit, provided account is taken of the induced EMF resulting from mutual inductions of the circuit and of the distribution of current in cross section of the circuit. What is correct option? Option D. It is applicable to both DC circuit as well as IC circuit. Provided account is taken of the induced EMF resulting from the mutual inductance of the circuit. It is important. Here they had mentioned self-inductance. Here they had mentioned mutual inductance. So it is applicable to both AC and DC circuits. It is resulting from the mutual inductance of the circuit but not self-inductance. Okay, 14th one. A car having an axial of 2 meters length is traveling with 72 km per hour at a vertical component of the earth magnetic field of 40 microweber per meter square. The EMF generated in the axial of a car will be option A 1.2 millivolts, 1.6 millivolts, 2.2 millivolts and 2.6 millivolts. For explanation, correct option is option B. How it will come is E equal to BLV. Here we have the formula. B, magnetic field, what they had mentioned, 40 microweber per meter square. Okay, 40 micro. What is the L value? L value is 2 meters. They had already mentioned in the problem, 2 meters length. And 72 kilometer per hour. 72 kilometer per hour changes into meters. Why? Because the length is already in meters now. So we have to convert into 72 kilometers into and meter per second. Meter per second we have to multiply with 5 by 80. Kilometer per hour is converted into meter per second. We have to multiply with 5 by 18. Finally we can get 1.6 millivolts by doing calculation. And 15th one. Crust factor of an AC alternating current AC source is the ratio of maximum value to RMS value, RMS value to maximum value, RMS value to average value and maximum value to average value. Crust factor is also called peak factor. Remember, crust factor is also called peak factor. That is peak factor equal to maximum value by RMS value. So option A is the correct one. And the 16th one, a 200 kVA kilovolt ampere, a 200 kVA 3300 by 240 volts. That means it is V1 and V2. And 50 Hz single phase transformer. What they had mentioned? They had mentioned a single phase transformer has 80 turns on the secondary winding. Assuming an ideal transformer, here we have to identify, assuming an ideal transformer, the primary current I1 and secondary current I2 on full load are nearby. What we have to find out? I1 and I2. Okay, for explanation purpose, see here, we have already know the formula S equal to V into I. For our convenience, in order to find out I1, I had taken S equal to V1 into I1. We had already know the value of S. S is 200 kVA. That means the kilovolt ampere. So kilo means 200 into 10 cube. It is the S value. It is the V value. That is V1 value. V1 value 3300 and I1. We have to find out I1. I1 equal to 60.6 amperes. From the transformer, we have already know the one relation, that is we have already find out the I1 value. What we have to find out next? I2 value. For that purpose, we are considering one relation, V1 by V2 equal to N1 by N2 equal to I2 by I1. We have the relation in a transformer. By equalizing V1 by V2 equal to I2 by I1. Okay, already they had mentioned V1, V2. I1 we can already get from this value. On substituting all these values, we can get I2 equal to 833.3 amperes. What is the correct option? 60.6 amperes is the I1 and 833 amperes is the I2 value. It is the correct option. And 17th one. Consider the following data regarding the nameplate of a single phase 4-pole induction motor. Output 373 volts and through 230 volts. Frequency 50 Hz, input current 2.9 amperes, power factor 0.71, speed 1410 or rotation per minute. Efficiency of a motor will be. What is the efficiency formula? Output power by input power into 100. For finding the input power, we have the formula VI into cos phi. Already they had mentioned value of V 230 volts and current 2.9 amperes and power factor 0.5 value 0. It is the 5 value, power factor 0.71 watt. By doing calculation, P in equal to 473.57 watts. We have to find out P out. P out they had already mentioned in the problem itself, 373 volts. Efficiency formula P out by P in into 100. P out by P in into 100. We can get 78.76% as the efficiency of the induction motor. 78.76. So approximately 78.8%. And 18th one. Two capacitors of 80 microfarads and 50 microfarads are connected in series. When 200 volts at 5 Hz are applied across the series circuit, maximum energy stored in the circuit. We have to find out the energy stored in a circuit. Okay, according to the problem, we have to draw the diagram. Two capacitors, 80 microfarads and 50 microfarads are connected in the series. And what is the voltage they had given? 200 volts at 50 Hz. Okay, when the two capacitors are in series, we have the formula C equal to C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. According to that, we can do the calculation. We can get 30.769 microfarads as the equivalent capacitance. What they had asked? Energy stored. Work done, that is energy equal to work done. Work done equal to half CV square. We had already know value of C equivalent and V value, voltage, Vm now. Okay, half into 30.769 into microfarads into 200 into root 2 whole square. By doing calculation, we can get 1.23 joules. Okay, and the next one, 19th one. Two coils are connected in parallel and a voltage of 200 volts is applied to the terminals. The total current is 15 amperes and the power dissipated in one of the coils is 1500 volts. The resistance of each coil will be nearby. According to the data given in the problem, we have to draw the circuit diagram. R1 and L1 and R2 and L2. It is the DC source. The current flowing is 15 amperes and R1 and L1 are connected in series and R2 L2 are connected in the series. L1 and L2 will be short circuited since DC source is applied. Here it is the DC source, no? So these two are the short circuited. So then power P equal to V square by R1. From this I had already given the value of V voltage. From this we can get R1 value and R equivalent value. We had already know the formula V equal to I into R. Okay, from this R equivalent equal to V by I. Then R equivalent equal to R1 parallel R2. When two resistors are in parallel, we have the formula R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. We had already know the value of R1. R equivalent value we have now. By equalizing and substituting all the values, we can get R2 equal to 26.67 ohms. It is self-explanatory. Go through this slide. And the last one, the value of total potential difference created between the electrons when the cell is not connected to an external circuit is the value of total potential difference. Okay, created between the electrons when cell is not connected to an external circuit. What do you call? Electromotive force, electrostatic force, electrochemical force and electromagnetic force. What do you call? EMF, electromotive force. Okay, thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Anand.